The first item on our work session agenda is the recognition of the International Language Day contest winners by Dr. Manfrey.
Just ask Pastor Nate Goodson to come to the podium first. Pastor Nate is the chairman of the Multicultural Commission from Upper Darby Township, and the school district works very closely with the Multicultural Commission on this endeavor. So, Pastor Goodson.
Good evening. As Dr. Manfrey has said, my name is Nate Goodson, and I'm a pastor here in Upper Darby. I am also the chairman of the Upper Darby Multicultural Commission. And for those of you who may not be aware of the commission is the vision of Mayor Tom Micozzie, who wanted to make sure that his office and administration was accessible to the cultural diversity that is Upper Darby. The role of the commission is to advise the mayor and township council on issues of cultural diversity. This is accomplished by providing opportunities for face-to-face discussions between the many cultural community leaders and other interested people. The members of the commission are all Upper Darby residents who have an awareness and recognition of different beliefs, values, and customs that other people have that are based on their origins of upbringings and what they have learned as children. We believe that the more we are aware of the various cultures in Upper Darby, that this will position all of us to be more successful in both personal and professional relationships. And so tonight, I represent the Upper Darby Multicultural Commission as we honor and as we participate in the International Mother Language Day. Thank you.
International Mother Language Day is a worldwide annual observance recognized this year on February 21st. It is a day that was established by the United Nations to promote awareness of linguistic and cultural diversity and promote multilingualism. Every year, Upper Darby School District, in conjunction with Upper Darby Township and the Mayor's Multicultural Commission, holds a poster contest celebrating this community's diversity. Our annual theme is, out of many languages comes one community. In Upper Darby School District, there are 55 different languages represented. Our teachers take pride in providing students of limited English proficiency the opportunity to learn English while celebrating their own languages and cultures. At the same time, our professional staff, both teachers and administrators, learn from our students and families about their culture and way of life. This year's theme could not be more appropriate. In Upper Darby Township, we truly exemplify a community that is one community out of many languages. We are so proud of all of our students, and especially those students who have celebrated their languages and cultures by participating in this contest. At this time, I would ask Mayor Micozzie to come to the podium, say a few words, and then we will recognize the winners of our poster contest. Mayor Micozzie.
Thank you, and good evening. I want to thank the board for tonight. I know it's each year. It's been 5 years since we started this contest, and there's been so many great things that have happened since that time. If anyone was around last Thursday night, you could have seen the mayor get dressed recognized as in full garb of chief of a tribe, and that's a great honor that I researched before that and also knew the origins of that. It's hanging in my office, well displayed. Our children in this community learn diversity throughout the day, through the schools, through the communities, and everything that we try to teach them, and they're, believe it or not, teaching us each and every day. When you look at these beautiful posters, it's clear that their minds recognize that we live in a great community and a great society. So on behalf of the township and the school district, we want to give them their awards. That's what they're here for tonight, to celebrate your great success and your winners. So we want to, Greg's going to announce the names, and Rachel, if you could come on.
Unfortunately, there are 5 students who are being recognized this year, 2 of which are with us tonight. I think that the closing of school had something to do with our other three students. But let me recognize those three students who are not here tonight first. A winner from Upper Darby High School, Farah Hashmat Siddiqui. An honorable mention from Upper Darby High School, Zanib Ali. And from Beverly Hills Middle School, Faraya Eva. Our winners who are here with us tonight, and we'll start with from Beverly Hills Middle School, and when I say your name, I want you to come up. Savannah Jewel Denig. She's so excited. Congratulations, Savannah, and thank you to her parents for getting her here tonight on such a miserable night outside. So we appreciate you making your way here tonight. Our second winner from Drexel Hill Middle School, Stephanie Corrente Marino. Stephanie? Gift certificate. Mayor Micozzie, Pastor Goodson, thank you very much. Mr. Brown, Mrs. Mitchell, School Board, thank you. They will receive their posters back, but not until we can replicate them. If you've ever been in the administration building, on the way up the steps to the second floor, we have the winners of the annual poster contest replicated, framed, and hanging in our stairwell on the way to the second floor. And if you ever get a chance to come by and take a look, they're really fantastic. This is just one of many ways that Upper Darby School District and Township celebrate the diversity of our community. So thank you for the time this evening, and be safe going home. Thank you so much.
Congratulations again. Thank you so much for coming on this night. The third item on our work session agenda is a We Deliver service presentation by Mr. Brydges from Garrettford Elementary School.
Good evening, Acting Superintendent McGarry, President Mitchell, members of the school board, students, staff, and community. For those of you that I have not had the privilege of meeting, my name is Alan Brydges. I'm the current principal at Garrettford Elementary School. Garrettford is an absolutely amazing place, and there are so many great things going on this year. We have an amazing student mentor program, which will actually be featured this month on the Making a Difference video. So if you have some time, make sure you go on when it gets up. It's a really great video. We also have Math Tutor Club, Parent and Faculty Advisory Teams, Tier 2 Committee, and an award-winning PBIS program. All these activities help build and foster a culture of community. That is why tonight I wanted to give a little glimpse in our We Deliver program. Our We Deliver program is an outstanding way for the students and staff to communicate and build that community that we strive for at Garrettford. So I hope you enjoy the short video we have.
We Deliver is like a postal service.
It is like actual mail.
It's a great program where the kids can write letters to staff, to each other. Staff can write letters to students.
You just might want to say hello or write a friendly letter.
Miss Farrell does a great job. She has a really intense process to make sure it's professional, and it's really kind of like the Postal Service goes through.
It was started by a colleague many years ago, Kathy Dowd, and I have just continued to keep that program in place here.
My friends have done it before that are in 5th grade now, and it sounded really exciting.
As younger students, they watch the mail deliverers deliver the mail to their classrooms using the official mail bags. So it's a big deal when you are actually able to be one of those workers.
It starts with our lead teacher, Mr. Thornton. He goes into the classrooms and talks to them about the importance of it.
He said that it was a very important thing in 4th grade that we could do, and I thought it would seem fun.
There's an application process that you fill out, very basic, name, address.
Miss Farrell will look at it. If the application's filled out correctly, then she'll give them a test.
You would have to take a test about how do you know a lot about mail.
One of the questions was, in a mail note, where does the stamp go? This side, this side, this side, or this side?
There's a short interview process that because you are an independent worker in the school, you walk around and do the job on your own to make sure that you'd be responsible to be on the streets of Garrettford independently.
There was a letter that told you that you're accepted.
In assembly, we had to go up on the stage, and everybody who was doing We Deliver for the 4th grade, they would all have to stand up, and me and someone else talk to everybody, so it was like a pledge.
To have the promise that we would take care of the mail, and that was our duty.
So we go through that whole process, and then once they're kind of sworn in, they're the postal carriers.
We actually have 2 postmaster generals that are in charge of picking up the mail.
There was tons and tons of letters, and I thought, wow, how many people could have done this in like the first 8 weeks of school?
Then they bring it to the postal service where it's sorted.
They stamp them first, put them into the slots, and then the delivery workers take the mail from the boxes and they deliver it to the classes.
Early in the year, once everyone is in their places, we develop an address book. So every student, every staff member in the building has an address.
They have to know the building, they have to know where all the classrooms are at, and they have to know the addresses, which is kind of hard, so they'll have a little map to figure it out.
And then they go and deliver to the mailboxes.
Being a part of We Deliver, I think it teaches them how to be a worker in the real world, knowing the importance of carrying out your job, because if they do not do their job, which is during their recess time, someone's not getting a communication that was sent to them.
Fitting writing into the curriculum is always an issue, and this is a fun way to get the kids to write. It's always hard to get kids to write, and so this is a great way to get the kids writing.
Regardless of how much technology is in the world, sharing our thoughts on paper is always going to be very valuable.
Emails and texting is just, people are so into their phones.
We can't allow phones here to text to other teachers, so I think mail is something that we can use to talk with other people, but not face-to-face, just by reading like a pen pal.
And you can keep the letters, so you might want to look at it sometimes just to remember your friend.
I mean, I still, as old as I am and been working here, I still enjoy getting the letter out of my mailbox, and I always make sure I write back to every kid who writes me a letter, so we have a lot of fun with it. Thank you. Before we go real quick, I'd like to thank Ms. Farrell. She's in attendance tonight. She's the backbone to the We Deliver service, so thank you, Ms. Farrell. Thank you, Farrell. I don't want to embarrass her, but she does. She gives up a lot of her own lunchtime. I know we spent a lot of time talking about facilities. Dr. McGarry, one of the recent letters I got was a student that has classrooms on the 3rd floor. He was asking if, instead of steps, he could have escalators to the 3rd floor. So that was one of the recent letters. And also, before I go, I'd like to thank Mr. Taylor. He does a great job with the videos, putting it together. He always makes us sound great. The only thing he hasn't been able to do is make it look like I have a full head of hair on the video, but he's trying. So thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. Those are the memories that children remember about their elementary school experience. So thank you so much for what you're doing with the students at Garrettford. The next and final item on our work session agenda is a Teaming for Student Success presentation by Mrs. Beauford, the principal of Stonehurst Hills Elementary School.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board members, Superintendent McGarry, parents. My kids are here. Hello, shout out to my kids. And to the Stonehurst Hills community also here supporting. I wanted to talk to you guys about teaming at Stonehurst Hills Elementary School. Teaming in a sense of all the things we do behind the scenes to make sure that students are successful. A lot of times you hear about what's happening on the stage, you see the teachers preparing lessons, you hear about all the typical things that teachers do. But there's a whole lot that goes into making sure that kids have what they need in schools. So I'm going to give you a little peek behind the scenes, behind the curtains at this time. Teaming for student success is important in a school environment because beyond the work day, there's so much work that goes into making sure that students get what they need academically, behaviorally, socially, and culturally in schools.
PBIS committee. So PBIS is our positive behavior and intervention systems that we utilize here. Our PBIS committee is really nice because we have such a broad variety of who is on our team, and it's all just one big collaborative group that works to foster a positive behavior throughout the entire school.
Attendance Improvement Committee.
We meet for the attendance committee once a month with the attendance officer, the principal, and I to go over the children that are kind of presenting with attendance concerns or issues to see if we have any information that we can bring to the table, whether it be, a barrier that's affecting that family. And then we decide who can reach out to the family to see if we can eliminate that barrier, and we come up with a plan that we can put into place so we can move forward.
In that committee,
MDET is multidisciplinary education team, and we meet every Monday morning. MDET is used to review all of the special education students who are on our current caseloads, their needs, upcoming meetings, reevaluations that need to take place in the near future. And our goal is just to make sure that all the students with an IEP here at Stonehurst are receiving the appropriate services to fit their needs.
Behavior committee.
Through Behavior Committee, we analyze the student referral data through eSchool and our Google data to ensure that we are paying attention to students that might be displaying behaviors that are getting in the way of their ability to learn, and then through that, providing them with interventions and strategies that they can use to cope with behaviors that are specific to them.
Student support team.
So our student support team is a group of faculty members that meet because the classroom teacher has referred a student to our team based on academic needs, and we look to see if there is something more than just an academic issue. And then we pair that child with an interventionist, and they meet with them 3 times a week, and they work on goals that were set during that meeting time to see if they're going to make some adequate progress.
Leadership committee.
The Leadership Committee is a group of teachers, it's actually a lot of teachers, who get together in the morning and we discuss whatever is going on in the building and what needs to be discussed and worked on. We usually come up with a plan on how we're going to move forward, and then we distribute it to our grade partners so that we can all work together. So it starts at the top and then comes down.
All of the committees here at Stonehurst are extremely important.
The teaming of supports us in making sure that teachers get the support they need on the ground, on stage, in classrooms, and that parents get a comprehensive look at how their students are doing in our school.
So if our staff are more prepared for our students will foster a positive behavior relationship within school, and they'll have a great relationship coming to school because they'll utilize all the skills that we've taught them because we are utilizing the skills that we've taught them.
We will bring our own perspective, our information to the table, and look towards solutions.
All the meetings have that goal in mind and ultimately trying to help the student find success in school.
So, how many hours do we spend doing this? 345 hours in a school year, meeting as a school leadership team, our student support team, our positive behavior interventions and support team, our multidisciplinary education team, behavior committee, attendance improvement committee, and then I also left out the grade level teams that we have also. So with all of this teaming, we are problem focused. A lot of times we get caught up in the blame game, or what we don't have, or things that we need. What we do is work with what we have, and we attack a problem. We beat the problem up, not each other. So that's what's great about this teaming. We are problem focused. So this snapshot, this behind the scenes, is all about 2 things. It is about making sure students have all that they need, and it's also about building leaders amongst our teachers, because we are really huge proponents of distributed leadership, which is shared leadership. Schools run by teachers, because there is no one person that can save a school. We all work together. So within those 345 hours that occur before, after, and during school, we are so hopeful that we are meeting students' needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Beauford. It is refreshing to see all the work that goes into helping meet students' needs for their equity, and I love the teacher leadership concept, so thank you so much for all that you're doing to lead Stonehurst. At this time, I'm going to call the meeting of the Upper Darby School Board of Directors. Will please come to order. There was a closed session on January 15th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for the purpose of the superintendent search. On January 22nd, from 9:05 to 9:20 p.m. for personnel matters, and this evening from 5:45 p.m. till 7:20 p.m. for matters to be discussed within the limitations of closed-door deliberations as prescribed by Pennsylvania Act 93 of 1998. For this evening's meeting, they were personnel, litigation, and real estate matters. Roll call, please. Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile?
Here.
Mr. Desnoyers?
Here.
Ms. Jordan?
Here.
Dr. Rucci? Dr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Fields. Ms. Curry. Mr. Brown. Ms. Mitchell.
Here, thank you. Mr. Brown, the minutes.
The minutes of the combined work session regular meeting of January 8th, 2019 are in the hands of each board member and have been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Mr. Fields was the second? Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile. Aye. Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Fields. Ms. Curry. Mr. Brown. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. Mr. Brown, the report of the secretary.
The report of the secretary is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Fields. Ms. Curry.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. The next up is the report of the treasurer, Mr. Brown.
The report of the treasurer is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor. Mr. Fields. Ms. Curry.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much. The next up is our student representative report, Sarah and Zoe.
The buildings of report this month are district-wide, and our district highlight this month is Counselor Appreciation Month, and we would just like to acknowledge all of the incredible counselors throughout our district. Speaking from my own experiences, my counselors have helped me grow and achieve things that I did not know I was able to achieve. They were so much more than individuals that help students with scheduling. They are career counselors, support systems, and some of the most impactful people in our schools. They may not always receive praise for the incredible work that they do, but we notice and appreciate them more than we could ever express. Additionally, this past month, the Upper Darby Arts and Education Foundation hosted the 21st Annual Gala, a district-wide event showcasing the extensive music talent of over 1,000 of our students. We had singers from the adorable Koala Chorus, talented musicians from the middle school band and orchestra, and even the nationally acclaimed students from the high school choir and encores. This event raised $48,000 to benefit the school district.
At the high school, we recently hosted the Winter Formal, which was a huge success thanks to the combined work of the class of 2019 and class of 2020. We also placed a strong emphasis on service here this month. Upper Darby High School's National English Honor Society participated in several service projects, most notably our visits to the municipal library. Once a week, 5 high school students visit the library after school and read to children for about an hour. As an honor society, we intend to continue our service and our emphasis on spreading literacy with our upcoming book drive, which will start soon.
Thank you so much, ladies. The next up is the budgeted personnel and enrollment reports have been made available to the board and the public and are recorded as part of the record. No vote is required. And now we'll have the superintendent's report.
Good evening, Board President Mitchell, members of the board, administration, teachers, staff, students, parents, and members of the community of Upper Darby School District. Thank you to the Township and Dr. Greg Manfrey for the recognition of the International Mother Language Day poster award winners. Year after year, the talented students continue to shine. I would also like to take a moment to recognize another outstanding accomplishment for one of our AP art students, Ellie Quillen, who is the student of teacher Sarah Robb. Ellie won the Silver Key from Scholastic Art and Writing for her most recent work, The Adventure We Call Life, and The Old Hayshed Reimaged. This is the 3rd year in a row that Ellie has been recognized for her tremendous talent. Ellie, come on up. The Multicultural Foundation and the librarian community extended me an invitation last month to join other local leaders and community leaders in working together to solve community problems. The list of attendees included local state representatives, members of our Upper Darby School Board, district administration, and members of the Upper Darby Township. We were honored to be included in the discussion. The coin we all received as part of the Pavla Hut discussion signified a willingness to share opinions, provide insight into problems facing members of our librarian community, and offered a step toward removing barriers for students and parents who would like to be more engaged in the community and school district. During the meeting, you could feel the pride expressed by those in attendance. On January 23rd, I was asked to participate on a House Democratic Policy Committee public hearing panel on fair funding. A common theme among all those participating on the panel was the political will to support a fair funding formula. Subsequently, I was invited to speak on the topic of fair funding at the Delaware County Intermediate Unit as part of the PA Schools Work campaign, which we all have our t-shirts on here proudly displaying. In attendance with me on February 2nd were many members of our Board of School Directors, Dr. Manfrey, Ms. Simone, our UDEA President, and several UDEA teachers. Thank you for joining us. We were very well represented, to say the least. I was asked to provide some comments on the issues we face here in Upper Darby as a result of the lack of proper funding. I did not want to present a list of complaints or statistical evidence supporting our need of more funding. Instead, I reviewed a plan with central office cabinet members, contacted Ms. Simone, and we decided to highlight our kids. Zoe Demetriades, who's here with us today, 12th grade student, Sarah Ibrahim, a 12th grade student, Chloe Lamb, a 12th grade student, and Hanif Wilcox, an 11th grade student, joined me in my comments and were able to add their valuable insight and thoughts on fair funding. They were outstanding. I want to play a clip for you right now. Good morning. Good morning. All right, this is exciting. I'm really, really excited. It is an honor and privilege to be here as one of many superintendents who are passionate about properly funding and supporting public education. I'm sure you know or have heard a little bit about our story, the story of Upper Darby School District, a district that is the very foundation of public education in the Commonwealth. In 1836, Upper Darby School District's first board president, Dr. George Smith, penned the final draft of the Free Public School Act, a story, a district, and a county that represents everything that is great about this country and everything that is great about public education. I understand the fight to fund public schools is now a fight between the haves and the have-nots. I'm not here to perpetuate that fight. Instead, I'm here to say that every child who attends public school in Pennsylvania has the right to the same educational opportunities. My concern, however, is that the will and desire to make this reality simply doesn't exist. Instead, finding a solution to this problem, we continue to admire the problem. This should not be a fight among or between school districts either. We should all come together and agree that every child should learn how to read. Every child should have access to technology. Every child should have comfortable facilities and classrooms with highly trained teachers. I was in a meeting recently when someone shared a video of the 2013 Apple iPhone. Quickly, the commercial shows what at first appears to be a totally disengaged teenage boy during the holidays playing on his phone. It is a brilliant setup. In the end, the boy is totally engaged as he produces a heartwarming video of loving moments with family and friends. What struck me the most, however, was the last image you see as the video comes to a close. You are simply left looking at the Apple icon. An image. It seems to make you feel or say, of course, it's Apple. The Apple seems to resonate with people as credible, as something worth investing in, buying, and owning. It is a product that engaged a little boy and aided him in celebrating his family. Why do I share this? I share this because we have not properly highlighted our Apple icon, our students. Our Apple icon looks like this: 1,080 English learners, 574 of whom have been in this country for less than 3 years. We speak over 60 different languages, over 2,251 special education students, over 8,000 students who are economically disadvantaged, students in foster care, students who are homeless, and students going to Penn, Drexel, Penn State, and other outstanding universities. The school districts in this county are wonderful, and they will continue to do the best they can with the resources they have. Instead of continuing to rattle off statistics or complain about unfunded mandates, I'm going to share with you the individuals whose lives hurt the most by providing them with the least. Please join me in welcoming Hanif Wilcox, Chloe Lamb, Sarah Ibrahim, and Zoe Demetriades, whose mother is here, is also here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hanif Wilcox. I'm 17 and I'm in the 11th grade. I'm in choir and I help with various activities in my school. I've worked very hard to get my grades to where they are now. At times, however, I feel as though I could accomplish more if our district had more resources. I have a dream of accomplishing a degree in business and law management, and I need my school to have everything it needs to help me achieve my dreams and my goals. Please think about it just for 1 minute. Shouldn't I have the opportunity to reach my dreams? I see my teachers and administrators putting in the extra work and effort because we just don't have the proper funding, and it upsets me. I know that all students may not be like me, but I fight for the kids who don't have what I have. I have learned that only I can achieve my dreams if my school district is able to provide me with what I need. Thank you.
Good job.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chloe Lamb, and I'm a senior at Upper Darby High School. Today, I want to acknowledge Upper Darby High School's wonderful athletic department, but also share with you the impact inadequate facilities has had on the image of our student athletes. I have been a member of the Upper Darby swimming and diving team since my freshman year. When I first began, I didn't realize that swimming was much more than a sport. It's more than just the competitions and being a better swimmer. It's also about representing my entire community. I am proud of my community. During swim meets against other schools, I remind myself that I have to be an example of what Upper Darby High School truly is. I have to show that no matter what the outcome is of the race, I will always congratulate the other team and keep my head high. I have to show the other schools that I am more than what they think of me or the image that they have of my district. Oftentimes, however, it is hard because the other school's image of Upper Darby is that we are not as deserving. When I begin to feel this way, I stop and take a moment to realize that this is about more than just me. It's what they see when they walk into our school and see the condition of our facilities. I want more for our community and for the future of students who attend our schools. I want more for all of the kids who attend public schools in Pennsylvania. I'll never forget the embarrassment that my teammates and I faced when opposing schools would walk into the locker rooms and complain about the foul stench or the slippery floors. What they think of Upper Darby High School is exactly what they see when they walk through those doors. If fair funding were to be implemented, future student athletes won't have to worry about embarrassing themselves over something they can't control, the condition of the facilities. Instead, they can focus on improving themselves and working towards their goals as an athlete.
Good morning, my name is Sarah Ibrahim and I'm a senior at Upper Darby High School. Throughout my 13 years as a student in the Upper Darby School District, I have taken advantage of just about every opportunity the district has provided me, be it the impressive amount of AP classes, dual enrollment classes at DCCC, or various clubs varying in every way, the ability to participate in one of the greatest music departments in the state, and perhaps the country, or even just the ability to be here advocating for something I so strongly believe in. My time at Upper Darby has been nothing short of wonderful and eye-opening. While I am proud to share my joy in my district and highlight the opportunities my teachers and administration has provided me, I cannot help but think about what else I could have accomplished with more resources. Often, in order to still provide specific courses due to low staffing, I'm in classes with over 30 students in classrooms with insufficient technology. I know the district continues to remedy the situation, but we are poorly funded and our classrooms and materials show it. The lack of funding also impacts our district's ability to retain teachers. There were times where I would have a teacher for 2 months and suddenly they were gone. All of our clubs have considered ways to raise money to help improve our materials for certain courses. I understand that my time as a high school student is almost over, but I'm here today to ask all of you to please improve the educational opportunities for the next generation of Upper Darby Royals and support a fair funding formula. If the fair funding formula were to be implemented, I believe the increase in funding would provide an immediate positive improvement in our schools. Our district could begin to provide better learning facilities, textbooks, and technology. Overall, our students deserve more suitable learning environments.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Zoe Demetriades, and I'm a senior at the Upper Darby High School. I have been a student of the Upper Darby School District for 13 years, and for this, I am grateful. Even as a student of an underfunded school district, I have been afforded the opportunity to take some of the most amazing classes and be taught by some of the most brilliant teachers, and yet with fair funding, it could be better. I will be going to college next year, and I plan to study secondary education. When I was a little girl, I would close my eyes and imagine being a teacher. I would see a classroom full of smiling students and walls covered in examples of excellent classwork. But never did I imagine having to scrounge for materials, having inadequate technology, or needing to face the other roadblocks that teachers currently face throughout the state. School districts such as Upper Darby need more money to resolve some of our problems and thus level the educational playing field statewide. Instead, the state continues to argue over these real issues at the expense of the students. Until this cycle stops and public education is seen as more than just a business that's designed to benefit the pockets of large textbook companies, the students will continue to suffer. I hope that one day, when I become a teacher, these issues will be reduced to a mere bad memory of what education was once. I hope that all students will be provided with opportunities to grow and succeed. I hope that fair funding will become a reality. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend.
So I won't finish my last comments. It's really more about the kids. But I want to say to the two of you here tonight, I really appreciate your effort. It was exciting that morning. You were awesome. The folks that were there just raved about you. I continue to. We meet with students monthly at the high school, students who are totally engaged, and we meet with students, myself, Ms. Simone, Dr. Council, Dr. Manfred. We also meet with students who struggle a little bit in school to be engaged. So we have two different groups of high school students that we meet with, and there is a common thread that comes throughout. Facilities, better support for teachers, and more opportunities for the kids who attend our schools. And you guys did an awesome job representing this community, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Each year as a district, it is customary to give an update on the goals we have established for the organization, along with key elements of our district comprehensive plan. At this time, I would like to briefly highlight our goals and the very positive and tangible successes we have all accomplished thus far this year. There are 4 goals. 2 of them are here. And these are the other 2. Each month during our committee meetings, the collaborative efforts of teachers, administrators, and members of our board of school directors make recommendations in order to continue to provide our students and staff with the best opportunities to reach excellence. Thus far this year, we have recommended new curricular materials for social studies, math, English and language arts. We have developed new pathways toward graduation, presented an update on our 5-year technology plan, have implemented phase 1 of our equity plan, and continue to do our work with trauma-informed care. In order to increase communication and better engage members of the community, we've begun to send summaries of the topics we present at each committee meeting in advance of each meeting. We also provide an email link for the public to submit questions prior to each meeting. This increased communication affords the board and the administration the opportunity to address questions and concerns during each presentation. We will continue to seek out other methods to increase communication and further unify the district and community. We have presented plans to address several high-priority needs from our capital improvement document and have also prepared a public presentation of a draft plan to build a new middle school in the community. All of this work has happened with this board's leadership and the administration and the staff of this district. So I want to say thank you for the efforts we've made so far to the district comprehensive plan and the goals that this board has set forth. Another outstanding accomplishment is, and I'll ask Dr. Council to join me, that Dr. Council, Mr. Rogers, Ms. Tyre, Mr. Grant, Dr. Manfrey, Mr. Edward Brown, Ms. Gina Curry, as well as our entire Board of School Directors, our labor attorney, Mark Fitzgerald, the UDA negotiations team in this community, you stayed engaged and informed as we worked on agreement with our teachers. I am hopeful that our continued unity will provide opportunities for excellence with our students. As I turn this over to Dr. Council, I know the negotiation team representing the district, along with UDA leadership, never stopped talking. The results of the continued dialogue is now a new UDA labor agreement that provides fiscal stability and allows Dr. Council and his office the ability to retain and recruit teachers. Dr. Council?
Thank you, Dr. McGarry. Madam President, members of the board, and members of the public. As we went into these negotiations, we based our thinking on 3 critical points: opportunity, unity, and excellence. To each point, we believe that every Upper Darby student can achieve in a diverse and loving school environment. And they have a civil right to the best education possible so they can graduate from high school on time, ready to be productive and engaged citizens in the world. It is our great teachers and great principals at each school that makes our district a special place. Our principals and teachers are committed to expanding opportunity for our students and maximizing their potential. Furthermore, a quality public education system benefits the entire community. And fiscal stability will allow us to make the investments needed to improve the education of our students, that our students receive, modernize the buildings they learn in, and retain and hire a 21st century workforce. The key provisions of the collective bargaining agreement includes increased starting salaries over the life of the contract, step movement for each year of the contract, 2 lateral movements for each year of the contract, a continuation of a retirement incentive with an earlier notification requirement, cyber programming integration, up to 5 sick days allotted for the care of immediate family members, and increased ability to carry over personal business days. Additional provisions include 100% tuition reimbursement for up to 6 credits per year with a 5-year payback option, an increased dollar amount for teacher coverage vouchers, an increased medical contribution over the life of the contract, and an implemented employee premium contribution for prescription coverage. Personally, I'm excited about this agreement, and I know it's just another step towards unifying our district. Upper Darby is a special place for our students and for our staff. And it's our staff, it's the teachers, it's the employees in our district that is a key ingredient for making this a special, special place. Madam President, members of the board, I thank you for your continued support throughout this endeavor. Dr. McGarry.
That includes our report for this evening, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to have an update on the January 22nd meeting of the Education and Pupil Services. Mrs. Curry?
The Education and Pupil Services Committee meeting report is as follows. We had 3 agenda items, and the first agenda item required board action. The Elementary English Language Arts textbook recommendation. Miss Susan Ortley, District Supervisor of English Language Arts, Reading and World Languages, made a recommendation to the board to adopt into reading a Houghton Mifflin Harcourt program for English Language Arts. This program would be implemented for the 2019-2020 school year, replacing Storytown, which is used throughout the elementary schools currently. The presentation included the process used to make the decision, as well as highlights of the new program. In addition, the cost of implementation, the professional development plan, and technology support was discussed. This adoption will be funded through the Legislative Education Grant, and board action is required at the February 12, 2019 board meeting. Agenda item 2, board action was also required. Middle school math textbook recommendation. Mr. Rob Schwartz, District Supervisor of Mathematics, Business, and Technology, made a recommendation to the board to adopt Pearson's Envision Math 2.0 for the middle schools. The
The presentation included the process used to make the decision, as well as highlights of the new program. Mr. Swartz discussed the print and digital components of the program, as well as the professional development plan for the teachers. This adoption will be funded through the Legislative Education Grant and requires board action this evening, February 12th, 2019 board meeting. Lastly, but not least, there was agenda item number 3. Board action is also required tonight. The 2019-20 school calendar. Ms. Christine Kelly, Director of Curriculum, presented the 2019-20 calendar. The presentation highlighted important dates such as the start of school, state testing windows, early dismissals, parent conferences, and graduation. The draft of the calendar had been presented to UDEA, UDASA, and the board for feedback prior to the presentation. The calendar will require board action this evening, February 12th, 2019. Excuse me. During this committee meeting, there were several comments. On agenda item number 1, there were 2 comments. The first one was about the speaker asking if the Wilson Foundation will still be a part of the curriculum for kindergartners, and will the MTSS and ELA still look at the same with the new curriculum. The speaker asked if the MTSS math in classrooms will create a scheduling issue that has to be approved by the board. The speaker also asked if the new elementary reading curriculum will be implemented this year and math the next year, and if there is a way to advance the elementary math to prepare the gifted students for algebra. On that same agenda item, there was a speaker who shared their disappointment in the homework for their 3rd grader that they've been bringing home. The speaker asked how the ELA homework will be changed to elevate students to critical thinking and not just busy work. The speaker asked if the ELA is an app or a website based, and will the students have the freedom to move to the next level when they are ready. On agenda item number 2, the speaker discussed the past issues with implementing Go Math through the grades and asked if we anticipate seeing the same issues with this new math program. The speaker asked if this new math curriculum will be as heavy with reading and writing context, and will students have struggles with comprehension with this program. The speaker commented that parent engagement is very important and should be provided during the entire use of the new programs. The speaker also recommended having come to the schools in the evening to access the additional laptops and carts in order to assist their children. And lastly, on agenda item number 3, the speaker asked how many students are going home to similar conditions when there is an early dismissal due to a heat wave, and is this really keeping the kids safe? The speaker asked if there is any movement on PlanCon, and also asked the board to communicate our facility safety issues to our legislators. All of these comments and agenda items can be seen on board docs for that January 22nd, 2019.
Thank you, Mrs. Curry. We'll now
Thank
have
you.
an update from the January 22nd Finance and Operations Committee meeting. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. This is the summary for the Finance and Operations Committee that was conducted on January 22nd, 2019. Agenda item number 1 was informational, the technology 5-year plan update. The school board of directors were provided with an annual update as it relates to the district's 5-year technology plan by Mr. Robert Helinsky, Director of Technology. The presentation reviewed current and expected status of student devices. The highlight was that the district will achieve over a 60% student device ratio across the district in 2019-2020. Security enhancements continue throughout the district, including camera installations, upgrading of Raptor system, and required training. Projects for the 2019-20 school year were discussed and noted that they will be included in the upcoming budget. Agenda item number 2 was also informational. It was the report on the annual water testing. The school board of directors were provided with an update as it relates to the district's water testing analysis and result and current reporting requirements established under Act 39 that was implemented in June of 2018. Mr. McGarry, Supervisor of Facilities, Contracts and Bids, and Mr. Tim Leaf, Assistant Manager of Facilities, provided details as to the methodologies employed across the district in collecting sampling, testing completed at the Aqua America labs, and results, including defining terminology to understanding information in the reports. The results of the testing of all the samples fell below the U.S. EPA's regulations. Agenda item number 3 was both informational and board consensus was required. It was a request for approval for capital projects for the 2019-2020 school year. Review of projects to be funded through the Capital Reserve, Fund 32, and future capital projects to be funded through the issuance of bonds. The school board of directors were provided with a review of current capital projects and an itemized list of capital projects that administration was seeking board consensus to move to either a bid or engage architectural firms to develop and provide bid specifications for an estimated cost for various projects. Pursuant to the presentation, the board did approve consensus to general fund projects, issuance of bids for PA systems replacements at 3 elementary schools and clock replacements at 2 elementary schools. Part 2 was Capital Reserves Fund 32, the issuance of bids on projects including concrete replacement, playgrounds, pointing work, and other work throughout the district. Engagement of architects for bid spec development and costing out of fire alarm systems at 2 elementary schools and natatorium roof. And Part 3 was the future projects, engagement of architects for bid spec development and costing out for the following projects: the secondary athletic complexes, the window replacements at Beverly Hills Middle School and Garrettford Elementary School, and information will be reported back to the board for further consideration. There were no public comments. That completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And all of those reports, again, are available on board docs, as well as the video of the meeting where a lot of our staff answers some of the community questions, if you would like to take a look at it. The next up is the instruction and curriculum report. Please, Mrs. Curry.
The instruction and curriculum report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second. Thank you. Are there any comments from the board?
Yes, I have a comment. So I would like to comment on the calendar portion of this evening's vote. As I move the vote forward for the calendar, I did make a comment at the last committee meeting about the concerns that I had about starting school before Labor Day. This year on the calendar, we are proposing for the 2019-2020 school year that we start school on August 26th. At that time, I talked about the fact that I feel like if we start school early, we have more chances of having students being sent home early, which impedes their instruction and doesn't give them the opportunity to achieve the way they should be achieving on their benchmarking. So the comment that I want to make is the fact that I think in the 2020, 2021, as I've spoken to Ms. Kelly about this, and I know the hard work that she puts into putting that calendar together, and that's no easy task, and also the fact that the union has also been presented with this. I just want to make the recommendation that we look for the next school calendar year, as we put that together, that we really take into consideration while we're waiting for the funding to get all of our buildings up with air conditioning, when we should start school. Because if we're having to call school off, it doesn't make sense to me. This is really an issue that we need to consider, and so I have discussed it as a co-chair of the committee. This is an important issue to me, and I appreciate your time.
Are there any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please. Mr. Grant?
Ms. Gentile? Aye. Mr. Desnoyers? Aye. Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Taylor? Aye. Mr. Fields? Ms. Curry?
Aye, except for the calendar. Thank you.
Mr. Brown? Aye. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much. The next up, Dr. Taylor, the personnel report.
The personnel report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Are there any comments from the board?
Yes. I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to to our retirees for their years of service to the district. May you enjoy a long and restful retirement.
This evening, as you heard earlier, we will be voting on the teacher's contract. On page 7, that is where that's the page that we're voting on, that you'll see the contract. I'm thrilled that we came to an agreement. For the teachers that are in the audience this evening and for the teachers that later on are going to be watching this video in the comforts of their own home, thank you for everything you do with our students and with our parents every day. You showed us and you delivered your message as a membership. You gathered together at back-to-school nights, at the gala, at board meetings, at committee meetings to get your message out. And what I'm asking this evening is please don't lose that spirit and passion. We are $16 million underfunded, and we need to continue to fight for our students, for our teachers, and our facilities. So please continue with that passion. Gather together. I'm looking to union leadership and all of you as teachers to please continue this fight with us. Thank you.
In the personnel report, there's a pretty lengthy section on our new teacher support program. And I do want to take the opportunity tonight to thank the teachers that support our new teachers. And as we all know, through the contract negotiations and the budget process, that we do have a teacher turnover problem. And it does take a team to help build up these new teachers and bring them into the Upper Darby family. And I just want to make sure that they're recognized tonight for their efforts in that process. It's not new to the board. I mean, this is something that's been going on for years, but there is a pretty lengthy, section in the report tonight on that. I also do want to recognize last month we were able to ratify the contract with the Upper Darby Support Professionals Union. I'm sorry that we didn't recognize it, but I am recognizing it tonight, and we're thrilled that we're able to do that. And I also want to say that I believe the board tonight is very pleased to be able to offer the contract provisions that you saw tonight presented by Dr. Council. And I do want to thank everyone who took their time, nights, weekends, over Christmas break, to really make sure that we had a fair contract for our teachers, for our students, and for our community. So thank you very much. I think we have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments from the board? Are there any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please, Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Fields.
Aye.
Ms. Curry.
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next up is the transportation report. Mr. Brown.
The transportation report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Second.
Any comments from the board? Comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please, Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor. Mr. Fields. Ms. Curry.
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up is the supplies report. Mrs. Gentile.
The supplies report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Any comments from the board? Comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please.
Ms. Gentile.
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers.
Aye.
Ms. Jordan.
Aye.
Dr. Taylor.
Aye.
Mr. Fields. Ms. Curry.
Aye.
Mr. Brown. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye, motion carries. Next up is our facilities report, our use of facilities report, and our donation report. Mrs. Jordan.
Thank you, Madam President. The facilities report, the use of facilities report, and the donation report are in the hands of each board member and have been made available to the public. I move for their adoption.
Any comments from the board?
As I've said in past board meetings, the use of the facilities report is really like a wealth of information that kind of outlines what's happening in the in the township, like it talks about the fireworks already that are on July 3rd, and a lot of events that are happening. So if anybody has time, just skim through that report. Also, we always have to thank anybody who donates to the school. I mean, that's really important. And this month, there was exercise equipment donated to Beverly Hills from Northeast Fitness Solutions. So a shout out to Northeast Fitness Solutions for the donation.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please.
Ms. Gentile?
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Taylor? Mr. Fields? Ms. Curry?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. The next up is the Finance and Budget Report. Mr. Brown?
The Finance and Budget Report is in the hands of each board member and has been made available to the public. I move for its adoption.
Any comments from the board? I just want to recognize that in the Finance and Budget Report, there is an agreement for graduation at the Tower Theater. For 2 years. Sure.
Thank you. So we always struggled to get the contract in advance. We now got next year, not only this year, but next year. And then we also found out in conversations with Studio Movie Grill, they're going to give us all of their viewing venues with music and everything set up as well.
Mr. Brown and I are particularly excited because we have seniors this year. I'm excited too. Okay, all right. Are there any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, poll vote, please.
Ms. Gentile?
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Taylor? Mr. Fields? Ms. Curry? Mr. Brown? Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. All right. Next up, we have our collateral assignment reports. Mrs. Jordan, Delaware County Community College.
And on Wednesday, January 16th, there was a liaison meeting at Delaware County Community College. The presentation consisted of planning for the future. The president of the college, Dr. Black, mentioned that they have a bid-in to the Bonner, really the Prendergast building, along with some other company to, if they did get that facility, then they would combine Barclay Square and their Southeast Delco facility into one, which I think would be a huge win-win for our Upper Darby students. And we know transportation is a barrier, so that could just open up, so many different opportunities for our kids. They talked about transfer college opportunities. There are over 60 agreements with local colleges, ranging from Westchester, Temple, Penn State, Drexel, Widener, along with University of Pennsylvania, Villanova, and Yale. And then they ended the evening with talk about the workforce development programs that they also have and agreements that they have with Mars, Pico, and SEPTA, among many other companies in the area. So really, Delaware County Community College just offers so many opportunities. I have some brochures which I'll share, and maybe we can get the slides from the presentation up on our website so people can just scroll through what information I learned.
Thank you so much. The next up, Delaware County Intermediate Unit, Dr. Taylor.
So this upcoming month, there are 2 parent workshops in the next few weeks. The first session will focus on managing challenging behaviors at home. In this session, participants will examine various techniques to set clear and realistic expectations in the home and build positive, respectful relationships with their child. The session will be on Wednesday, February 27th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the DCIU Morton Education Center that's located at 200 Yale Ave in Morton, PA. And then the second parent workshop is going to focus on ADHD in adolescence. And so adolescence is a time of changing preferences, abilities, and demands. In this session, participants will explore the changing needs and challenges facing students with ADHD as they enter their middle school and high school years. This session will be on Thursday, March 7th, from 6 to 8 p.m. It will also be at the DCIU Morton Education Center, 200 Yale Ave.
Mr. Fields, Legislative Council.
I'm going to discuss 1 or 2 items from the last Legislative Council meeting. as well as a couple of events that have happened since then. But more importantly, I want to discuss a couple of agenda items that are going to happen in tomorrow's meeting, tomorrow's Legislative Council meeting, that I think is important for the community to know now instead of in a month, right? So at the beginning of the last Legislative Council meeting, real quick, I just want to say Dr. McGarry got a shout out from the people running the meeting. He had attended the previous meeting the month before and offered his insights coming from Upper Darby School District, and they really appreciate it, and they've appreciated the work he's done going out to these different events and things like that. So I just wanted to mention that. That's not the kind of thing that gets put in the minutes, but I did hear it. So there was that. There was an advocacy day in Washington, D.C. with Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon. This focused on special ed. President Mitchell and Dr. Taylor attended and met with Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon. They discussed Upper Darby special ed needs. Upper Darby special ed is underfunded, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, by 183%. Okay? So it's not just that the house burnt down, but they dug a hole out, too. Like, that's how much it's underfunded. So that was a good meeting for them to have. I was going to speak to the PCCY event that Dr. McGarry already discussed, but again, shout out to the folks, especially the students that attended. The most difficult, it's tough enough to talk in front of a room of about 40 people, but you guys spoke in front of a room of about 100 people, and my hat's off to you, and you should take some pride in that. From tomorrow's meeting, there's two agenda items, Governor Wolf's upcoming proposed budget and a Senate bill. The proposed budget has another 3% for Upper Darby. That comes out to about $1.2 million. It's a proposed budget, okay? So it's up for debate, it's up for discussion, it's up for vote, but that's the proposal, okay? But I definitely wanted to speak to the public about the Senate Bill 34. It amends the cyber charter school rules and laws, for lack of a better term, so that, here's the long and short of it. If a school district offers an online option like Upper Darby, okay, then kids that want to go to a cyber charter school, if they want to go, they can. They have to pay the tuition to go there, okay? Upper Darby keeps that tuition, okay? So basically, it basically says, hey, you want to go to an online program? Go to your public schools first. So financially, this is what that means for Upper Darby, okay? There are 277 students currently in Upper Darby School District that attend an online program charter school, okay? Right? If they come back to the district, that's 4.1 million more for the district. That's 4.1 million that stays in the district, okay? Right, that's how that works. So if the budget passes, and if this passes, at some point that's a potential 5.3 million more a year in recurring dollars, okay, every year. So that's a very, very good bill. Thank you. So here's the thing, okay? I'm pretty sure, I see one of the state reps, I'm pretty sure.
Co-sponsoring getting the house.
Fantastic, fantastic. We don't have the House bill yet, but we're going to get it. Everybody in this area is going to support it, right? If you have family and friends, people you know from high school, anybody you know in other parts of the state that you could call and you could ask them to ask their state reps and their state senators to support this bill, it'll help all the districts across the state, especially the ones that have an online program, okay? I think a question that might remain out there is that can our online program support an additional 277 kids? Okay, I believe the term I was told was hell yes. Okay? Okay, hell's okay, right? So talk to family and friends. It's not enough that Southeastern Pennsylvania pushes for this. We need this push across the state. And I implore you to get in touch with those family and friends that you might have in Central PA or across the state that can advocate for this, okay? That's the main thing. And those are the two big things from tomorrow's meeting. The Senate bill is SB 34, right? Talk to your electeds about it, okay? That's the big thing. And that is everything I have for
Thank
legislative
you.
council. I'm sorry if I took too long.
While we're on Legislative Council, I'll just give my report on the NSBA. Advocacy Institute conference that I attended. It was just a couple weeks ago, and we were in Washington from Sunday until Tuesday evening. The goal of the conference was really to roll out the NSBA's advocacy platform, which their main platform is to reauthorize the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and to hopefully attach the funding that they promised to it, which was 40% of the district costs. So that is the platform that school boards from across the country are advocating for with their federal legislators. They are also advocating for infrastructure and workforce development. Can you think of anything else, Dr. Taylor, of the main points of the, and then I'll finish. Okay. Yeah, so we were lucky enough to meet with a brand new staffer from Senator Toomey's office in the morning, who seemed to understand our plight, but really couldn't make us any promises on behalf of Senator Toomey. In the afternoon, we were able to catch a glimpse of Mary Gay Scanlon, not our whole group, but Dr. Taylor, myself, Dr. Edelberg from the DCIU. We were able to sit down and really talk to her about how important IDEA funding and reauthorizing it is, and the infrastructure grant, especially. So we were thrilled to get some FaceTime with our congressperson there, but there are some other opportunities going on in the community, and I would implore you to really contact Senator Casey, Senator Toomey, and Mary Gay Scanlon and ask specifically for the IDEA and the infrastructure. They do track when you contact them, so if you would call them and ask, they have to keep track of that, and the more they see it, then the more they're going to advocate for it. So I appreciate the time to go to that. It was inspirational to see other people advocating for the same things that are important to us. The only off-putting thing of the entire time was the School Boards Association did invite Betsy DeVos to speak to the school boards, and she was on the stage for about 10 minutes. The School Board Association was very respectful of her, but she did tout choice the whole time, and we know that choice is really hurting our students. So we want to just send a message that isn't really, our public schools are doing a good job. If we would fund them, just think how much we could really do. So with that, I'm going to go on to Mrs. Gentile for the Mendenhall Tyson Scholarship Committee.
I was unable to go to the last meeting, but I know that we are now getting ready to take applications for our various scholarships that are offered here in the district. The interesting thing about Upper Darby that you don't find in many other school districts across the state really is that we have scholarships that are given to our students in excess of $300,000 or more. And that is because of people within the district giving the money. It's not, I know a lot of schools will say, well, our students, we've got a scholarship to Penn, but Penn's paying for that scholarship. I'm talking about scholarships that our citizens are sponsoring. And it's an amazing thing. And you go to different school districts and talk about this, they cannot believe what's happening. So when you read in the paper that such and such school has gotten $500, $1 million in scholarships, no, that they might have earned them as our students do. We don't include that in our scholarships so much as what we as citizens provide for our students. Now, the Mendelsohn Tyson, of course, is the most prestigious. We will be giving about $100,000 to graduating seniors this year. It's quite an amazing monies that we can provide, and it's the stock market, believe it or not, has not really hurt us as bad as we thought it would because this money, of course, is invested, and it's worth over $2 million, the monies that we have. So we're able to continue to help these students. So girls, get your apps in and see what happens.
The home and school, Mrs. Jordan?
We usually go with a review of the previous committee meetings, and we opened it up to questions in advance. We had conversations about the recent emergency situation at Drexel Hill Middle School as regard to communication. We shared the incident information that we could and efforts to try to improve communication. Conversations about improving facilities came up. More importantly, those in attendance were asking about the potential of a new school in Clifton Heights, and that brought up an idea of boundaries. And there was some enthusiasm from those in attendance about that opportunity. We shared that was one of several opportunities that are out there for the school district. We reviewed all the budgetary items that were on the list as far as the last month, as far as the improvements, and all the other committee meeting information that was there.
Thank you. The next up, technology, Mr. Brown?
Regarding technology, Dr. Rucci and I are looking at the website, and we have some recommendations that we're going to move forward and make public that we think would improve the navigation of our website and just make it a little bit more user-friendly. So we will give more details about that in the near future.
Thank you. Anything from the PSBA representative role? Okay. Nothing, there's no policy committee things going on. Any communication update, Dr. Taylor or Ms. Jordan? Okay. All right. Any other collateral assignments?
A shout out to the Lady Royals who are playing, playoffs on Friday. Yes.
Just add to that, it's 7 o'clock at CB West, and if you need directions, we can put that out on Twitter and on Facebook tonight. But they play Friday night at CB West, our girls.
Okay. The next up is old business. Before I do that, I just do want to give an update on the superintendent search. I just want to let the public know that we have received applications and we're in the process at this time of screening candidates. Now we're going to move on to the charter school resolution. I'm going to read this because I want to make sure that I get it 100% right. Pursuant to our special meeting to consider the application of the Upper Darby Charter School of the Arts on January 31st, 2019, the district's charter school review team had made a recommendation to reject the application. Based upon their recommendation, a resolution has been prepared for the Upper Darby Board of School Directors to authorize its solicitor to prepare written notice of the decision herein and consistent with the findings of this resolution to the Upper Darby Charter School for the Arts within 30 days of this resolution. Such notice shall provide the reasons for denial, including a description of deficiencies in the application. It should be noted that any school board director who does not approve this resolution is voting to accept and approve the application of the Upper Darby Charter School of the Arts. So if you would like to deny the application, you are to vote aye on the resolution. If you wanted to accept the Charter School of the Arts, you are to vote nay. Is everyone okay with that? Now I need a motion for the denial resolution for the consideration of the application of the Upper Darby Charter School for the Arts.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Are there any comments from the board? Are there any comments from the public? Come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
David Neal, 432 Bermont Road. So I'm here tonight to share my thoughts as an educator and as a resident of Upper Darby School District on the current charter school application that was submitted to the school board. First, as a special education teacher, I find the lack of appropriate language disturbing. The outdated terms used in the application tells me all I need to know about the quality of education our children would receive at this charter school. There was a complete lack of expertise and understanding of special education field in this charter school application. If the charter school was run by the same amount of thought and passion that went into this application, it would be the worst run school in the nation. And of course, the children of Upper Darby School District would be the ones paying the ultimate price when they are forced to come back into the school district below grade level. Based on this alone, I asked the school board to deny this charter school application. But remember, I also wanted to share my thoughts as a resident. So the purpose of the charter school is to supplement the local schools in what is lacking. This charter school application decided that our district is lacking in the arts. As we all know, Upper Darby School District is known for our tremendous arts programs, not only for our district students, but for our out-of-district children participating through our various performing arts programs every year. Students from all over Southeast Pennsylvania come to our district, our home, to participate in various arts programs that we offer. We do not need a supplemental choice when it comes to the arts. We are that supplemental choice. Thank you to the school board for the opportunity to speak, and then once again, I ask the school board to deny the charter application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Are there any other comments from the public? Okay, I'm just going to remind the board one more time. Any school board director who does not approve this resolution is voting to accept and approve the application of the Upper Darby Charter School for the Arts. Poll vote, please, Mr. Grant.
Ms. Gentile?
Aye.
Mr. Desnoyers?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Dr. Taylor? Aye. Mr. Fields?
Aye.
Ms. Curry?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Mitchell?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, thank you. Any new business from board members? You do? Okay.
I just want to bring up some new business that I would like the administration to look into, and also being on as the co-chair for the Education and Pupil Services, I contacted Ms. Christine Kelly about the report cards for elementary school students. And as I don't have a child in middle school right now, I haven't seen the middle school report card, but the elementary report card is the one that's most concerning at this time, as I've gotten a lot of interest, I would say, from parents that are concerned about really having a comprehensive knowledge of what their students are doing, what their children are doing in school. And I know that we, as a district, have tried really hard to get that online and the data on the report card. But I personally have some friends that just moved into the district that are very excited about the district. They got the report card and they were really confused because they were coming from another district. As I did some research, I looked onto some other districts, and I would like us to really take a hard look at how we can make this report card more friendly for parents who want to see what their children's progress is, and to be able to communicate with the teachers most effectively to be able to help our children to grow. And so I would just ask us as a committee to go back, and I know the district has done a lot of work to get this done, but I would just ask us to look back and try to figure out a way to make it more parent-friendly and more comprehensive for our parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Curry. Is there any other new business from board members?
Just a reminder that on Saturday night, February 23rd, the Upper Darby Arts and Education Foundation will be having their Sweet Night Out. I think it's the 4th or 5th year of this event, and it is a fundraiser. Proceeds go back to our students and teachers in scholarships. It's held at Drexel Brook. It is a great evening of good food, dancing. They just redid the Drexel Brook, the banquet room, so it is a really fun event. So you can buy a table. So you can get on the Upper Darby Arts and Education website to purchase tickets. But, you know, if you don't have plans yet for Valentine's Day, maybe you can push it off for a week and take your date out to Drexel Brook next Saturday night.
At this time, I'm going to have Representative Mike Zabel, who would like to recognize the school board members with certificates. Before he does that, I did just want to let everyone know that we also received certificates of recognition from Senator Carney in recognition of, and each board member has a copy of it. So Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I know it's been a long meeting and a lot of really wonderful things have happened today, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. But I did want to take a minute today to recognize a group of people that I think don't often get recognized for the commitment to public service that they should be recognized for. And I'm here to thank them today for it, which are the directors of the Upper Darby School Board. It is a job that is volunteer. It's not paid. And it involves an enormous amount of public criticism sometimes, and they all willingly, these people up here, stand up here and take it, and they do it for the reasons that we are all here as well, because they care about your children, my children, our children. So I would like to thank them personally. First, I'd like to thank you first for your vote on the the charter school application today. I think that was a very wise decision, and I think you made the right one. Second, I'd like to thank you for your commitment to public service, each and every one of you. It's clear just from sitting in on any one meeting how many hours of your and weeks of your life you put into this every single year. And I want you to know the community does not take that for granted. I'd also like to thank you for dealing with what our teachers have to deal with, what our students and our families have to deal with every day, which is the fact that Upper Darby is one of the most underfunded school districts in the Commonwealth. Every day you're asked to make decisions and make accommodations for the fact that you are working with two hands tied behind your back financially. It is the job of the Pennsylvania General Assembly to implement a thorough and efficient system of public education, and right now we are failing to do that, particularly with regards to Upper Darby and another one of my school districts, William Penn. I want you to know I know that. I want you to know it is a fight that I will be fighting for a long time. And people will tell you sometimes, some of the cynics will tell you that this kind of fight is unwinnable. I've been told that before, and I've won. So I'm ready to fight hard for Upper Darby, and I know that that battle is in front of us. And I thank you for making those tough decisions, and I promise I'm going to try to make your job easier and make the job of our teachers easier and make our students have access to all the resources that they deserve, because we know what's in here. We saw with those videos what's going on here in Upper Darby is truly special. And just imagine if we were able to upgrade our facilities and have the access to the technology and the resources that our students deserve. And I think we would be the best school district in the Commonwealth on all levels, and I think in many ways we're already there. So thank you for that. The House of Representatives designated January as School Board Director Appreciation Month, and in classic Harrisburg fashion, here I am in February. It was because of meeting mix-ups, but I'd like to read the resolution that acknowledges your service and what it entails. And it's only about 20 minutes long, so everybody just bear with me. No, it's short, I promise. Whereas local school districts and their governing boards were established by the General Assembly more than 150 years ago, and whereas public education is mandated by Section 14 of Article 3 of the Constitution of Pennsylvania. Whereas school board members govern individual school districts, establish local policies, approve educational programs, provide necessary physical facilities, hire properly certified, professional, and classified employees, and sharing costs by raising necessary local funds along with state funds to operate district educational programs. And whereas being an effective school director is a difficult task, particularly in the climate of school change. And whereas a school director must be knowledgeable about many complex educational and social issues. And whereas school board service is a pure form of grassroots democratic involvement upon which our republic was founded. Amen. And whereas local public school directors are dedicated, educated, and responsible citizens who carry out voluntary public service, a classic example of representative government in our democracy. Therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives designates the month of January 2019 as School Director Recognition Month in Pennsylvania. And I thank you in return. I also have certificates which I'll pass down to you. Thank you very much for your service, and I ask that everybody here please give the school directors a round of applause.
Okay, any other new business from board members? Okay, we're at the time of our public hearing. I'm going to call upon those who have signed in order that they have signed in. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes. Mr. David Neal? You pass? Okay. Stacy Hawley?
Good evening, Stacy Hawley, 1017 Mason Avenue. I'm here on behalf of the Upper Darby Arts and Education Foundation as a board member. Lee, thanks for the shout out. Just a quick commercial. It is February 23rd, which is next Saturday, 6 to 11. Upper Darby alums get a discount. We've got a Walt Disney World trip. We've got a Dell laptop. We've got some great prizes. It's a casino theme, and it's fun. It's, no serious gambling. But this is our 6th annual event, and the proceeds do go back to support or enhance district programming such as, so I can remember, the high school engineering and robotics team, mini grants for the teachers, and just wanted to let you know that the mini grant application is open until March. I think it's the 13th or the 23rd for the teachers. It's on our website, udfoundation.com. Hope you come out for dancing, photos, and a lot of fun. Thanks.
Hello, Bernadette Escareggi, 1025 Morgan Avenue. I just want to give a couple shout outs tonight to Sarah and the rest of the DECA team who are heading to states. So we're glad they have the opportunity. They've unified in spite of teacher changes, those teachers that have stepped up to support them, and we're looking for excellence for all those people that are going to states next Wednesday. My next shout out goes to the Upper Darby swim and dive team. We had 24 seniors that just were celebrated last week, including one of the board members' daughters was celebrated for her excellence in supporting the Upper Darby swim and dive team. But the next thing that I wanted to say is the Upper Darby swim and dive team just hosted the Central League Silver Meet. The coaches pulled together everything to support all of the districts in the Central League, hosted an excellent event Friday and Saturday night. The coaches made all the platforms, the podiums, and then the Upper Darby Art Honor Society helped with the painting of the numbers. But it was a well-hosted event, and shout out to Casey O'Hara and Tara Burke and all the students that worked hard to get it together, to do their best. And a shout out to the students that are going to the Centrals this weekend at Radnor. But with that Upper Darby Unity Excellence and opportunity, they're looking for getting some new materials for their swim thing, so with logos on it, because they will be hosting it again. So I have some pictures of some items that they could use to really support what our logo is. So starting blocks, materials. So if you want to get the money spent, we have a list of things. So thank you very much.
Forward to it. Just in case anyone doesn't know here, there is a great Twitter handle, I think it's UD Royals, that is promoting all of our sports accomplishments. Over the weekend, unfortunately, my daughter could not attend the meets because she was very sick, but I saw some of the great pictures, and that platform was amazing. So I don't know who put that together, but it was great. And I know that it makes the kids feel really special to have that. So thank you for all you're doing with the team. There is no other public comment, so at this time, a motion is in order for adjournment.